If those members think everything's really good in Cuba or cool in Cuba, then why don't you ask the thousands and hundreds of thousands of Cubans that risk their lives crossing the Florida Straits?
Some members of the squad now under fire for a secret visit they made to Havana. Progressive Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Pramila Jayapal are now trying to pass it off as a human rights trip. Alexandria Hoff's got the fallout. She's live in Washington. What happened, Alex? Good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Yeah, this trip was not disclosed by the lawmakers. It was not reported by Cuban state media while they were there. And the State Department notes that it did not facilitate any meetings between Jayapal Omar and the Cuban government. So now they're having to answer to it. But they're feeling newly invigorated. Congresswoman Omar, she said on the House floor yesterday that Cuba needs to be pulled from the list of state sponsors of terrorism.
For 65 long years, the Cuban people have suffered under the weight of American embargo. Now, Cuba's completely unwarranted designation as a state sponsor of terror is causing new waves of hardship for the people of the island.
Last week, Reps Omar and Jayapal led a delegation of about a dozen to Havana. The two were among 40 Democrats who back in 2021 voted against a resolution to support demonstrators in Cuba who took a stand against their authoritarian government. Republican Congressman Byron Donalds weighed in.
I think it's a damn shame because we know what's going on with human rights in Cuba. It's the regime. Get rid of them. If you get rid of the regime and actually have a country where people are allowed to actually own their property and be able to speak their voice politically, you'd actually have a better Cuba.
Congressman Carlos Jimenez, who was born in Cuba, said he was personally offended by the trip.
I have no use for, obviously, for the Cuban government. I really have not much use for the people that want to make apologies for them.
And House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said yesterday that he did not want to comment on the trip until he had been briefed on it.
Okay, all right, more to come. Alex, thanks. Nice to see you in Washington, D.C.
And a real